So there's two things I want to like make a point of before I start really chatting here. The first one being like, I'm sorry if like the audio's awful. I'm in my backyard. I'm just kind of like talking at a normal volume, not really doing that Mr. Beast voice or anything like that. I'm just being me. So if the audio is really bad and it's shifting from ear to ear, it's because I'm looking around. I think the phone has two microphones in it. I don't know. And the second thing is like, if you, even after listening to like these 30 seconds, if you think you might like, kind of recognize me, because I don't have the most unique, or I don't have the most like generic voice. I don't sound, I feel like I'm somewhat identifiable, especially like when you take into account my cadence and how I talk. So if you do think you know who I am, go away, please. Um, yeah, I'm gonna crack open this can of worms on my own with my own resources before like friends or oh my god, even family. That would be the sucky thing. Is like I don't really keep in touch with most of my family, but that's another issue for another day, I think. But like immediate family finding this, that would be just embarrassing or awkward. Like friends I talk to every day, that would also be pretty awkward. You see, got that cool guy cadence. I don't even know if I said it in this take. I might have, but like I was just out here writing, and I was like, oh hey, what if I like recorded like a little bit of this, and it's like it might be really interesting to go back to later in life, or like embarrassing. That's a big ass bee. I don't know if you saw him. He's like right there ish. Anyway, maybe it wasn't a bee, but whatever. You get the idea. It's not very formal. Um, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, it was like I was recording these, and it's like, it might be fun or embarrassing to go back to later on, or maybe like, God knows how YouTube works. Maybe it just gets pushed to some random Joe Schmo's inbox, and then they're like, okay, I'll watch this because it's a picture of a forest and like antidepressants in the title. Maybe it'll be interesting. If you, I don't know, man. Maybe you got to find yourself. Cause I think I'm starting that process now. But yeah, you're gonna notice that I ramble quite a bit. If it's not, just me watching this back. If you're not me, it's welcome. So it was like I started this notebook thing today because I picked up the antidepressants and they haven't done anything yet because one dose. But it was like, man, that's like that's like a thing, huh? Like when I was younger, it was like, oh, people with like depression or the other thing I got going on that I know of is ADHD. It's like these people are like these are not normal people. And I feel like as I've gotten older, and funny enough, like as dumb or cliche as it might sound, like watching people that are kind of open about their stuff, like, Germa, for example, it's kind of like eye opening almost. Like these are normal people and they are really successful. Or at the very least, they got something figured out that I don't. And it's like I started reading into like ADHD more, and I was like, yeah, this actually sounds exactly like me. So then I got in touch with a psychiatrist who kind of broke it down and made it easier to explain. And then she put some medication on me. So I guess, I don't know, if you're in the medical field, she might be called a pill pusher. She might not be. I don't know. I'm still new to this. Uh, yeah, so with the ADHD stuff, like I had your, I had every like little thing on that checklist going on. And a lot of that's better now. But one thing that's really remained is like the head fog. You might know what I'm talking about, you might not, but it's like I zone out while I'm talking mid-sentence. I've already been doing it now. You notice how I might be slowing in speech or stuttering a little bit or something like that. I'm not really paying attention to how I talk. I'm just rambling. And like in conversations with people that I like consider like, best friends or, family, I'm like not paying attention. And I don't know why. Or I'll have like the realization like at work this past week. I had a guy sitting next to me and he was just talking to the group. I was like, that's a real person, huh? That's like a person with their own thing going on. And now I know that's like maybe like kind of the Matrix talk. Like, oh, is he real or is he like a Agent Smith? Is that what they're called? I've only seen The Matrix like once. It's pretty good though. It's like main character disorder or something like that. I don't know. I just made that up. If that's real, then man, I need to be given a Nobel Prize immediately. But yeah, it's like that guy is that's a real guy, and that's honestly a guy that I consider my friend. It's like, huh. I get those moments sometimes, but it's not common. And I feel like it's a little easier to talk in this format than it would be with like a Zoom call with like a random therapist or psychiatrist, because I can just kind of ramble and not feel like embarrassed that I'm wasting somebody's time or that I'm, you know, not making sense. Because I've got like 6 different points I'm trying to make with one sentence, and I'm formulating like 40 different sentences as I do that. And that was a byproduct of ADHD, and it's like after 3 months now, it's been like that brain fog has never gone away, except for the first day that I took the ADHD medicine. And I was like, is this what normal feels like? I don't know how people operate like this. Now, for context here, I am 22, and I've only been diagnosed for a couple months now with ADHD, and that's pretty late. That's not like a 3rd grader getting diagnosed and having like their entire teenage life to figure this shit out. It's like, this has been pretty prevalent. I don't think I've ever really been like, it was just, oh, he's lazy or he's kind of dumb. No, apparently that's like a very common excuse. Kind of crappy, not necessarily crappy, but ignorant parents have. Is like, oh, my kid just doesn't work hard enough. Maybe your kid just quite literally doesn't have the motivation or the dopamine to do it, you know? Like, just consider getting the screening for it. It's free. Or, you know, if you have to pay like $200 to do it, get it over with so that your kid knows. So that you know that what you can do to help your kid with school or something like that. I feel like you might be able to pick up a little bit here on what I had going on. I was an A and B student throughout middle school and before that, or junior high or wherever you're from. And then like high school started, and then I broke my foot, and then I was playing Borderlands throughout the beginning part of my freshman years of high school. And I kind of liked doing that more than I did doing my homework or catch-up work, so I just kind of skated by through school with like C's and D's. Excuse me, and that's like where the point of, hey, this kid just doesn't try. If he only applied himself, he'd be better. Excuse me. Yeah, stuff like that. If you're like, you know, a teenager and you've never gotten tested for that, and that kind of sounds like you, and it's not like a matter of, you know, oh, I'll do it. It's not like that. It's more like a thing of like, I'm comfortable not doing it, and trying to force myself doing it is like trying to break down a brick wall with only toothpicks as your like tool. It's impossible, and it's like you'll eventually get through it, but it's the most tedious thing in the world. I feel like I've already sidetracked here. I've got like 3 paragraphs here on this page of Notepad, but it is like only a reference thing, I guess. So, yeah, I guess I kind of explained the ADHD thing well enough. The medicine hasn't really made the brain fog, or the, I don't know, not necessarily confusion, but like brain fog and like slowness maybe, because they're not really a side effect of my ADHD stuff. A gnat in my face. So I mean, oh hello, that's my finger. So I mean, there's like, I brought this up to the psychiatrist, and you know, my hand's getting a little tired here. Brought this up to the psychiatrist the other day when I was talking to her, and she's like, yeah, sounds like you might have like a detachment thing going on. And she didn't really elaborate too much, but she was very quick to put me on an antidepressant, and that's where I'm at today. And it's like, I was looking it up a little bit ago. It's like, I at least do not fit the bill of, you know, a sociopath or a schizophrenic, so that's good. I think. I don't know. I'm still pretty new to this whole mental health terminology shtick thing. I don't really know how hard those would be to overcome, but man, I'm gonna stop getting my finger in your face. Oh, I think I just put my finger over the mic. Yeah, I told you, very professional. But do I still have my finger over the mic? I do not. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I have them, and I'm reading through my notes right here. It's like, if these, like, I have like a trial period almost with these. They do take some time to kick in, so I'll be chewing down on these antidepressants for a little while. Okay. I mean, I've read through the side effects. Some of them are pretty crazy, but if it works out for me, it works out. That's good, right? We can worry about the side effects if the problem is if the fogginess and everything, and like the ability to have like mental clarity becomes present with these, then I can work out the side effects later. Maybe this sounds like a crappy psychiatrist, but like I said, I'm new to this. I do have access or resources to a therapist. I just haven't gotten with them yet. I think that was what I was going to do after I sat out here for a little bit. So, where am I at on my notes here? Yeah, so if these don't fix the issue of this fogginess, because as she put it, it's detachment. And detachment kind of fits the bill, but I feel like disassociation, from what I was reading, and not to just throw out all these TikTok buzzwords, because I've seen like this Minecraft fan base, and it's rough. Like, somebody got banned from chat, and they're like, "You've given me disassociation for life." I was like, that doesn't sound right at all. Mental illness in that community is definitely present, but the way they describe it, it is very hyperbolized. Or exaggerated, rather. But, like, from what I was reading, I feel like disassociation would fit the bill more. I don't know. Or maybe detachment and disassociation, like, go hand in hand. Stuff like that. It's like, could be, I don't know. From my own, like, little bit of Dr. Google research, you gotta be careful if you do have ADHD and you're reading up on this, because you have to really figure out what's the ADHD and what isn't. And with the medicine for the ADHD having been in my system for a few months now, I feel like we don't really have to consider too much of it being a byproduct of that. But it could be. I don't know. Disassociation sounds like a little more accurate to what I have, at least in my head, going on. And with all these straw man conversations I have, or all these hypotheticals I think up, which I don't have one to give you an example of at the moment. But hey, the psychiatrist, she's got the doctorate. She says detachment is her first guess here. So we'll see, I guess. I don't know if the medication for disassociation and detachment are the same, or if they're different. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But, either way, if that doesn't fix it, then I need to still figure out what the solution to this issue is, or if this fogginess, it does end up going away and some new issue arises, what is it? I've got like an idea, a couple of ideas now actually, of what it could be that's like the root cause of this. And I feel like that's where you gotta sit down with a therapist. But I just haven't done that yet. So I think I'm starting to become a little bit more like prepared now that I'm starting to get a little bit of information on this, like prepared to open that can of worms. Or, maybe that feeling of needing to talk to like a professional is starting to get a little more overwhelming. Now, I don't think that that's like, not to be dramatic, it's not like, oh, I'm in any danger of harming myself or anything like that. No, I'm just chilling. I got nothing going on. Some days I feel better than others, but like there's no bad days like that or anything. I'm not like I don't know what technically qualifies for crisis, but I'm a little bit familiar with this. I don't think I fit that bill though, of like a crisis situation. I think it's more like my curiosity is really starting to get peaked here. So I think that's all I have for these notes right now. I have a little bit more to talk on, but I think I would rather have that in a separate video, just because like you don't want to sit through 15 minutes just to get the one part. And these are all, oh, I cannot do the time frame thing at the bottom of every video. You know how some people have like time markers? There's so much going on in these. In this one I could feel like I can't remember every point I just hit, but I do know I was rambling. So the time markers are not going to be that helpful. I mean, honestly, though, I think this was a good idea just coming out here. I was really nervous to do it though. I don't know why. A brand new channel and everything. I'm gonna probably forget about it. I know for sure that there's no logical reason that the algorithm would pick up on this. But I'm not gonna have it be unlisted videos either, because like I said, maybe somebody does stumble across these videos and they can find themselves relating to it, and it could be a good like catalyst or something for them to start figuring themselves out. Or maybe you're just like, you know, in that audience that of people that are like, oh, like they're like the sickos out there that are like, oh, hey, like the people that are like, you know, gawking over this new Jeffrey Dahmer documentary thing. It's like, maybe you just like maybe you have like this morbid curiosity about every little thing that's like not okay. Not that having mental health issues is not okay. That's definitely more okay than what he did. But yeah, like I'm not doing any of this as like a negative connotation towards anything. I'm just kind of spilling my thoughts. So if I say something wrong or offend anybody that may end up stumbling over here, not my intention. I'm just kind of rambling, and I'm putting my day's worth of notes into videos so that I might watch them later. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Either way, I think I've touched on all the points I can right now. I don't know how often I'll upload to the channel, but I think I'm going to at least write my thoughts every time I feel like it's worthwhile. But I'm going to have a second part to this that'll be separate. It might go up before or after, I don't know. But basically things I had wished I'd known sooner. And I think that makes sense to have it separate, because like, even for me, it's like, maybe I'll go back and look at this differently later in life, or even a couple months from now, which I guess is still later than life. But you get the idea, like having just a general conversation and a specific topic that I don't know where it will end up in the normal conversation being two separate things. Like I have it separated here in my notebook, see? Like this was what I was talking about before. This is the known sooner stuff, and if I upload it the same way, I'll be able to find it easier in the future. Like I said, this is definitely for me, but I want to keep this kind of organized in case somebody else stumbles across this and finds it either helpful or interesting. So we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this here, and I'll probably upload again sometime in the future.